I'm going to show you how to position powerful SaaS marketing to really skyrocket your sales. Now, the preface of this is SaaS is just a competitive game. Capturing leads is just half the battle. Turning those leads into loyal customers is where the real challenge lies. And so I'll show you how to position your marketing campaigns strategically so that you can convert more leads through your marketing. Now, you're probably running ads, people sign up, and obviously you capture their emails. And then 90 to 95% of these leads don't do anything with your product and just disappear. And now you have a growing list of like say 20, 30, 100K signups that just sit in your CRM. And then you need to pay money to the CRM provider just to store these people. And meanwhile, they just sit in your list, do nothing, and really forget about you. And so this list keeps on growing, and so do your costs. And if you keep doing nothing with it, it ultimately turns into a liability for you. So let me show you how to use it to print money. You can use this list inside your marketing. It's really about hitting them with offers that make sense. But first, let's understand the problem. Nobody in their right mind wakes up and thinks, I'm just gonna buy this SaaS subscription, right? Nobody does that. This is a common misconception a lot of SaaS founders have. And it's something that if you're thinking about that, just forget it because it actually hurts your marketing. It hurts your sales. Just forget that. They're looking to solve their own problems. When you wake up, you're looking to solve your own problems. Like you're thinking, how can I grow this SaaS, right? And this is what you care about. They care about their own thing. And so at its core, the list you have is an audience of people who have indicated they have at least partial interest in solving the problem that your SaaS solves. Now, if they churned, it just signals that they are not ready to solve it just yet. Meaning it's really not a priority right now. So our job as marketers is to help them realize it is indeed a priority to fix it right now. And it's really about helping them realize, helping motivate them to buy now and stay with you forever. So how do we do that? So let's first discuss the nature of problems. When you want to lose weight, you need a gym membership, right? But once you have a gym membership, now you need dieting plans and workout routines, and this is only if you're serious about it, right? Otherwise, like you're just fooling around. So the funny thing about solving one problem is that it introduces a new one. And so it works like that. You have problem one, you solve it through solution one. And then once you solve it, then problem two arises out of nowhere, which requires solution two, and so on and so forth. And so with gym specifically, it looks like you have some weight-related issues. Then you get a gym membership because you want to lose weight. But now that you have a membership and you probably don't know what you're doing in most cases, you might know, most people do not, they now need a workout routine or a diet. Probably both. And so what they do is they get a coach because they don't know how to do it. And do you see how this is problem, solution, problem, solution? And one leads to, it's just like connected like a chain. And so this is exactly the same with your SaaS. It's the same psychology. Most people who would start a free trial with you are not ready to use your product now. They might do it for their own reasons, maybe out of curiosity, maybe just planning for the future. It's just like a nice thought to have, but ultimately they're doing nothing, right? And this is not really helping your sales. And so our job is to help them arrive at the problem that precedes your SaaS. Meaning, if they solve problem one through solution one, then they naturally arrive at problem 2, which leads them straight to your SaaS because your SaaS solves this problem. This is what you're looking to do with your marketing. And so we want to make problem 2 a priority right now. But they are focusing on problem 1 right now. And these two things are what you need to focus your marketing on. So more people arrive at the need for this in order to get this. And so let me give you an example of what that customer journey looks like. I had a client who is an AI chatbot platform. We did an interview with one of their recent customers, and the customer journey we found, by the way, I'm gonna give you the exact framework on how you can uncover these. Just keep watching. So what we found is they first run some type of activities that generate traffic to the website. In their case, it was Google, Facebook ads. They were doing YouTube and Instagram as well. And so what ended up happening is people ended up on their website. Now this customer wanted to convert more views to customers. And so he also believed in that multiple touch points are required to convert a customer, which is so true in marketing. And so what they did is they added a live chat as another touch point. And then what happens? They have traffic, then they add a live chat, and then they start receiving lots and lots of messages. And pretty much the demand was higher than they expected, so they had trouble responding to them in a timely manner. This was the founder doing all of that, by the way, even though he had a customer support team. And it's especially hard during the weekends and nights. So because it's not 24/7, and the customer usually requires an instant reply already. And so by the time they reply, which in this case it was usually after 2 days, the lead has already gone cold and they lose them. In their case, a single lead was worth about $900 to them. So they were leaving huge amounts of money on the table. And so for us and for our client, this made it obvious we needed to help more people get to the point where they receive lots and lots of messages. And so in order for that to happen, we needed to target people who were doing traffic generation activities. And in this case, it made sense to partner with other SaaS companies that help their customers generate traffic, or other agencies that focus on content marketing or ads. So it's always related to traffic, and then we co-market together. See how simple that actually is. Now, how do you find what that problem 1 is? How do you start? I'll give you 2 ways. The first one is you run a survey towards your email list. Now, a good amount of respondents to aim for is about 100. However, if you get just 20, do not get discouraged, because we're after the insights. And if the insights reveal the problems, you're good to go. So you're really looking for any number of respondents as long as you get good insights. So apart from the typical questions that you need to ask in the survey, like who are you, what's your name, job title, geographic location, and so on, ask these questions as well. What other SaaS tools do you use? It's really important because it reveals potential partners that you could co-market or integrate with. And also, you can go on the website of these other SaaS tools and see what are the problems that they solve. Ultimately, you're looking for problems which are preceding your SaaS. So if your SaaS is here, then you need a problem to be here. And then what are the favorite books that they read for their position or job title? Key influencers is what this reveals, as well as topics of the problems they look to solve. And then what is the current business challenge that they're working on right now? You might be able to help them with that challenge, so they naturally arrive at the need for your solution. And then another way to ask this is, what was the last business problem that you solved that you're proud of? Now, if they're proud of solving that problem, it means that it was a really hard challenge for them, meaning it's usually worth solving. And it's just like another way of finding out about their problems and see if you can solve any of that. And then, what are your preferred methods of consuming content? So this will tell you the distribution channels that you want to use. It could be, you could find a webinar in here, you could find blog posts, you'll probably find a combination of these. But it just tells you how your audience likes to consume and how to best use this email list that you have. So I like using Google Forms to run the survey. It's really free, simple, and easy to use by practically anyone on this planet. Now, the next method to understand, to reveal what that problem one is to conduct interviews with current customers or users. Extremely powerful. This is what I recommend. If you can do this, just do it. Do not overthink it. And so the goal is to book 3 to 6 interviews with current users or customers. And shout out to Aaron Crow for all of these questions here. So you need to ask, what's happening in the business that caused them to start using whatever the product is? Then, what is the most frustrating thing about the problem that they solve? And what effect is the problem having on your business? Now, I will add another question in between these two, because you're asking about the current problem. But then what you could do is actually, let's add it here and ask, what was the challenge that you solved before you started looking for, and then your product? And so this will tell you what was the previous problem they were working for, and this is exactly what you're looking for, right? And then you keep asking these other questions. What made you confident that the product was right for you? If you could no longer use us, what's one thing you would miss the most? And so on and so forth. Just different ways talking about the product and the problem. This is what you're looking for. The two most important questions you should ask are, so pretty much like your job here is you want to be prompting their mind. You want to help them think. Like, think about these situations, right? You're in an argument with somebody and you tell them you always do that, and they're like, oh yeah, give me an example, and then you go blank. Well, this is usually what happens during an interview, and so your job is to help them dig through their memory. So you always want to probe and ask them, okay, tell me more about that. What else? Is there anything else you can think of? And so whatever answer they tell you, you ask them, what was the challenge that you solved before you started looking for the product? And they tell you something. You do not just move straight to the next one, because you want to dive deeper. Like, you want to ask probably 2 or 3 follow-up questions to really understand, okay, so why was this painful to you? How did you solve it? And so on and so forth. You really want them to give you all of the solutions, essentially, because they've already solved it. And if they solve that problem and they're right now your customer, other people will probably follow this path as well. You want to leverage that. And so after you complete these, and by the way, what you could do is you could first run the interviews, and then you could run a survey to quantify all of the insights if you want to go that route. It's not necessary. Usually the interviews would be enough. And if you, for whatever reason, cannot conduct interviews, just run a survey. It will also be good enough, don't get me wrong. Now, how do you map the journey? After you conduct all of these things, then you will naturally know, just through having that conversation, what were all of the steps that they took. So you want to really map it in any way. Like, it doesn't need to be fancy. Just look at this. I'm just using a Google Doc to illustrate this point. It just needs to be logical, like this one, right? So this is literally a copy paste of like this one here. Like, we already discussed it, but I have highlighted the problem 1 and problem 2. And this is all you need. This is what you're looking for to really unlock the next level in marketing. And if you know what problem 1 is, and then you find a way to solve it through research, and then people naturally arrive at the need for your SaaS solution because of the nature of the problems that we discussed in here. You have problem 1, you solve it through whatever the solution is, and it naturally, like the person naturally arrives at problem 2, which needs solution 2, and solution 2 is your SaaS. And that's all you need. Did you notice how easy that is? Like, it's very straightforward when you do it this way. There's no guessing, you're just asking and then you just know exactly what to do. And if you do this, within the next 1 or 2 months, I promise you, you will skyrocket your sales. It is that powerful. It has an immediate effect. You just do it the right way instead of what everyone else is doing, just trying to guess. And so, what is the action plan? And here, so I've given the example with a webinar. It can be a lead magnet, it can be something else, but you can focus that piece of marketing content with surgical precision. You position it at a strategic intersection that literally leads people by the hand straight to your SaaS. And so what's next? Definitely execute on the strategy I just shared with you. This is the stuff that most SaaS companies don't do because they don't know how to. They pay people thousands and thousands of dollars just to guess. Don't be that person. Do not guess. Just do it. Create your webinar or whatever your piece of content is and position it a problem away from your SaaS. And then market it to that email list to turn it into an asset. And so you can have a flow. For example, when people sign up and then they don't do anything with your product, and then you can email market to them to join this webinar on solving this specific problem. And so it's, one problem away. Not everybody will sign up, but a lot of new people will sign up that you would naturally not convert. And this is how you get more sales almost immediately. Now, some common FAQs for you. Since I've given the example here with webinars, and I just recommend webinars just because they're so powerful at converting people. Just do a webinar, honestly. So what is the best time to host a webinar? Honestly, late morning, early afternoon, 11 a.m., 2 p.m., whatever the time zone. How long should the webinar be? 45 to 90 minutes. Usually, it needs to be long enough in order to get your point across. 45 to 90 minutes seems to be about ideal. What platforms? Honestly, a lot of platforms. I've used Zoom and Webinar Jam. I heard good things about Google Meets and GoToWebinar. Lots of choices, really. How do you handle low attendance during the webinars? Well, the first thing, you do not give up. If you give up the first try, just don't be that guy. You're destined for failure. Just try again. This is my best advice. And how do you ensure that the webinar leads to sales conversion? Now, the webinar here, I'm just, again, using it only as an example because it's like so good piece of content. It could be something else, but the way you ensure that this piece of content leads to sales conversions is by following the nature of problems. Meaning, you focus on solving, You focus on solving problem 1, through solution one, this is where your marketing is, solution one. When you do it, people arrive at problem two, which prompts the need for your SaaS. And so if it's a webinar, what you could do, you solve the problem that they experience, so problem one. Through solution one, you show them what the solution is. And during the webinar, when they are at that point where they realize, okay, so now I have problem two, how do I handle this influx of like new people, whatever the problem is, you hit them with an offer. Because at that point, they're just waiting for that offer because they so desperately need it. And this is how you help them move alongside your funnel and how you absolutely kill it with your SaaS. And so, if you want this document, I'll leave a link somewhere down in the description. Just go there, download it, have fun with it. I really hope this was helpful for you. Please like and subscribe. This will help get this video to other individuals that might find it helpful just like you. Thank you and have a good day.